Canon has only just announced the new Canon EOS R7 and EOS R10, its first two RF S-mount cameras with APS-C sensors. But rumors are already swirling that a Canon EOS R100 model is en route with an even lower price tag than the EOS R10. And in these trying financial times, that could be very good news indeed for hobbyist photographers. According to the latest rumors, the EOS R100 will sit below the EOS R10 and become a new entry point for buyers who want an affordable mirrorless camera. In theory, it could be like a Canon EOS M50 Mark II, but using RF family lenses rather than the now less exciting EF-M type. The RF series of lenses was initially made for full-frame cameras, but more recent RFS lenses have now been made specifically for those with APS-C sensors. Rumors suggest that more of these RFS lenses are en route, which would be good news for the EOS R100. The Japanese website Asabinet predicts the camera will arrive in the first half of 2023. While the site describes its source as unreliable, the usually reliable Canon Rumors says we do think a camera body under the Canon EOS R10 is very likely-ish. We've combined the latest speculation with our thoughts on what we'd like to see from what's expected to be Canon's cheapest RF mount camera. There are two obvious routes that the Canon EOS R100 could take, and both have been mirrored by a pair of Sony's affordable cameras. Like the Sony a6100, Canon could produce a camera with all the usual bits of hardware, like an electronic viewfinder, but incorporate lower-end specs. Or it could strip the thing back more comprehensively in order to appeal specifically to content creators on a budget, like the Sony a6100. The latter would arguably be more interesting, but the Canon EOS R100 name strongly suggests it will be more of a classic all-rounder APS-C camera like the Canon EOS M6 Mark II. Lower cost, pro-style cameras are usually smaller and lighter than more expensive ones, but the ways to trim down the design from the EOS R10's mold are not immediately obvious. That camera does not have any official water or dust proofing. It does not use a bulk-adding IBIS system, and it weighs an approachable 429 with battery and SD card. That certainly isn't heavy. The larger FS lens mount won't help either. The body can only get so small. However, Canon could trim down the grip and potentially use a slot in EVF like the Canon EOS M6 Mark II. This would eliminate the lump on the top of the other R-series models, and bundles with and without the EVF would let Canon further reduce the entry price, although you can bet you'll pay over the odds if you decide to buy it afterwards. Using a lower quality shell would also help lower weight and reduce cost slightly. We complained about the EOS M6 Mark II's build quality in our review, but if that's required to get the Canon EOS R100 to the right price, the sacrifice could be worth it. Canon may also choose to simplify the controls a little, perhaps removing the Canon EOS R10 style by the shutter button, because if the design is as compact as we hope, there will be little room in the hand grip for it. The best argument for a removable, optional viewfinder in the EOS R100 is that the EOS R10 has just about the lowest quality level that provides a good experience. It has a 2.36 million EVF, equivalent to 1024 x 768 pixels. The Canon EOS R100 is likely to use the same sensor as the EOS R10, a 24MP APS-C size chip. As such, it will take stills of comparable quality to that camera. This also means the camera will have a very similar autofocus system, as the AF points are right there on the sensor. Canon calls this AF system dual pixel CMOS AF II. The Canon EOS R10 has 651 points when using standard autofocus, or 4,503 when manually selecting single-point AF positions. Considering the Canon EOS R100 is also likely to have the Digic-X processor, there's little reason for it to lack the eye, face, body, vehicle, and animal tracking of the EOS R10. An Asabinet leak suggests the Canon R100 will be able to shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second, but not 6 fps. This would match APS-C competitors around the same price. The Fujifilm X-T200 is limited to 4K by 30p, while the video-focused Sony ZV-E10 can only shoot at 24 and 30p. At some point, entry-level APS-C cameras will start to offer 4K by 6p, but the Canon EOS R100 seems unlikely to be the camera to make that leap.